This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5 o'clock, people across Indianapolis say they've been ripped off by a contractor who took their money and never finished the work. What he had to say to our crews when we asked him where the money went.
And this week, dozens of drivers and hundreds of thousands of fans will be packing the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This morning, we're giving you a behind-the-scenes look at how medical crews make sure everyone is safe. Thanks for starting your day with us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Nicole Griffin.
And I'm Meredith Barrick, meteorologist Todd Clausen here. And Todd, I think there might be concerns later this week regarding the possibility for heat stroke and things like that. So having those medical crews on hand will be good. But today, no chance of that. We ain't feeling a lick of heat.
You know, there's no humidity around today, and that's the big thing. And temperatures will be cooler. But yeah, Friday, if you're heading to Carb Day, make sure you mix a couple waters in with those other beverages that you'll be having, because certainly heat and humidity are going to be a big time issue. Here's a live look at Storm Team 6 radar, and there's a little bit of rain out there this morning up to the north. You notice a few of those showers just north of Peru, but most of central Indiana here this morning is dry. But off to our west, there is quite a bit of rain actually that's making its way through central portions of Illinois right now. And some of these showers will get in here, but there's a dry northeasterly wind, so it should not be as potent once it arrives here in central Indiana. In other words, it should be falling apart as it makes its way into Indiana. But again, to the north and to the west of Indianapolis, that's where the best chance will be of seeing an isolated shower or two here this morning. Temperatures right now are in the 40s, 49 in Bloomington, 44 in Peru, 45 right now in Kokomo. And Anderson, you're currently sitting at 47 degrees. It's another cooler day as far as late May standards go for us, but it's comfortable, mostly cloudy here this morning. And then some sunshine later on this afternoon. Once we get into that sunshine, we'll see the temperatures take a jump, Elena, up into the mid to upper 60s.
All right, thank you, Todd. Right now we have a closure up in Boone County. State Road 32 closed between Mule Barn Road and Little Eagle Creek Avenue. So what we know is that two trucks actually collided. It's a rollover crash. Minor injuries with this, nothing serious, but there is debris out on the roadway, so that's why this closure is underway. Let's take a look at the roads right now. Here's a look at I-465 at Ditch Road up on the north side. This is an area that's had some construction work the past couple of weeks, but right now you can see everything's moving along just fine.
All right, Elena, thank you. We are working for you this morning with a warning about who you hire to do work on your home. Several people across Indianapolis say they were scammed by the same contractor. Daniel Fox says he was looking for someone to tile his brick fireplace and found a man named Jonathan Kirby on the Nextdoor app. Kirby came with positive reviews, so Fox got a quote and says he gave Kirby money to get started. Kirby started the work, but then vanished.
He said he would arrive the next evening, at which point he completely ceased communication. I never heard from him again.
How much money did you give to Mr. Kirby?
Almost $500.
Our Graham Hunter followed up on this story and was able to get Kirby on the phone.
Tell me what happened and where his money went.
I had to pay the bill. I didn't have the money for the material, and instead of calling him back, I just ignored the situation.
You did use some of the money to buy alcohol?
Yeah.
Kirby apologized for the situation and says he wants to pay people back. Consumer experts say you should always get a detailed contract before any work is done and to avoid paying up front. If you have a problem and need help getting answers, reach out to us here at RTV6 and working for you at RTV6.com.
This morning, the investigation continues into the death of a 1-year-old girl found in an SUV. The coroner's office says it could be another 8 weeks before they know the exact cause of death. Police say they found Maria Guadalupe Sanchez unresponsive when officers were called to an AutoZone on East Washington Street Saturday. Medics rushed the baby to Riley Hospital where she was pronounced dead. It's unclear how long the baby had been in the car. The child's mother was taken in for questioning, but charges have not been filed in the case.
As construction crews work in full force on the Red Line, which is set to open this summer, Indigo is preparing for the Blue Line. The 24-mile route will run east to west along Washington Street from Cumberland west to the Indianapolis International Airport. On Monday night, Indigo hosted a meeting to discuss the project, giving updates and answering questions.
There are inherently some changes that happen to the roadway and changes to traffic patterns, but overall the support for the project is pretty great, and it'll be a major enhancement to the riders' experience and opportunity to better connect to the airport and jobs that are especially out west in Plainfield.
The Blue Line will replace local service on Route 8. Right now, it's still in the planning and design stages. And tonight is your chance to weigh in on another one of Indigo's rapid transit lines. Indigo leaders will hold a meeting to discuss the Purple Line tonight. The route will connect downtown to Lawrence using Meridian, 38th Street, and Post Road. The Purple Line meeting will be held at the Avondale Meadows YMCA tonight from 5 until 7. The Purple Line is scheduled to start boarding passengers late next year.
Interstate construction is headed to the northeast side. Crews will patch and repave segments of I-465 and I-69 from US 31 all the way down to I-70. Work is scheduled to start next week, so prepare for lane closures. It's scheduled to go through October.
The Indy 500 is just days away, and this week and the weeks leading up to the race day are more than just interesting for spectators. It also creates a unique learning environment for people in the medical field. Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning. Alyssa, you got a chance to go behind the scenes of a special program that leads up to race day. Tell us about what you're learning.
That's right, Meredith, or Nicole, rather. We spoke with some of those students with IU School of Medicine. It's actually some of their residents, and they're part of a very special program that goes on here during the month of May. It's the Motorsports Special Elective with IU Health, and they're going to learn how to work with these drivers firsthand, dealing with some of those specialized injuries that they see out on the course. So 7 residents have been here at IMS throughout this past month. Second and third year emergency medical residents from IU School of Medicine and a few from across the country. They learn how to treat drivers after a crash, pit crew members, and spectators. The medical residents are among the first people to arrive at a car crash. They learn how to evaluate the driver while they're still in the car and how to transport them and treat their injuries. The medical director at IMS says this is an experience, something that residents cannot get anywhere else.
Especially as a result of ultra-high-speed crashes with the G-forces that we see, there's really nowhere else that you can go to see those, to have those kind of experiences. Road America up in Wisconsin is a huge.
Now the students also will ride with the pit crew medics working directly at the infield care center. On race day, they'll also rotate through the snake pit to get the experience of treating some of those fans. Now the program also includes a mass gathering component, so those residents will be here throughout the weekend for all of those concerts, learning how to deal with large groups of people. And Aaron Lish is here. You have a message from IMS President Doug Boles about some of those medical things that people need to be aware of on race day.
Absolutely. So there's nothing like the sights and the sounds of those Indy cars flying around the track. And I was talking to IMS President Doug Boles about how to protect your hearing while here at the track. IMS President Doug Boles will be sporting his earplugs during this year's Indy 500.
Just put those foam earplugs in. You can buy them at a place like Racing Electronics for $5. Put them in and just protect your ears while you're here. In addition, we've got other ways that you can protect your ears, but enhance your experience.
Doctors tell Boles he's at the hearing aid threshold.
So I just want people to be aware of what's happening.
Medical findings show race cars can put out more than 130 decibels. If exposed too long at 85 decibels, it can cause hearing damage. Race fans say bring hearing protection for the whole family.
We have a daughter who has trouble hearing as it is, just genetically, and so we know how much you can struggle when you start to have the hearing problems. So we'd like to prevent any of us from getting there.
Boles says if you forget your earplugs, Racing Electronics will be at 5 different locations around the track during the 500.
One time out the speedway isn't going to be a problem, but when you do it over a lifetime, that's when it does become a problem.
Those with Racing Electronics, they tell me that it will knock out about 50% of the background sound here at the 500. And what's really neat about the pairs that you can rent is that you can connect them to scanners and listen to the drivers and then also the master control and the radio. So you're even more immersed in this fun event. I will have a little bit more from Doug and some more race fans in the next half hour. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Aaron, thank you. It is 5:09, and if you've ever been arrested or served jail time time, that does not mean you cannot get hired. A job fair today caters specifically to people in those situations. Organizers say it's an opportunity to make a personal connection.
You can go to a job fair, this job fair, and also be confident in understanding that you are representing yourself, not the paper application.
The NAACP Job Fair runs from noon to 3 p.m. today at the Painters Union Building at 6501 Massachusetts Avenue. Anyone is welcome to attend. Organizers say all potential employers are supportive of the mission to get formerly incarcerated people into the workforce. All right, we're going to take a turn now. Todd is checking in on our weather.
Yeah, it's a cooler morning for us out there. As you walk out the door, you're probably going to want to grab the light jacket as temperatures are currently in the 40s, or you may want to grab that extra cup of coffee as well. With skies that are mostly cloudy and temperatures will remain in the 40s here through 8 a.m. And it's not going to be the brightest morning commute for you by any means, as we'll be dealing with quite a bit of cloud cover. And then you notice the rain isn't really too far off to our west, and it looks like it's going to make its way in here. And I think a few showers will, but the thing that's going on is we have these northeasterly winds, which is a dry wind direction, and that's going to eat away at some of this rain and essentially dry it up as it falls from the sky. And so that's why the further west and north you are, the better chance you have of seeing an isolated shower here this morning. But we're not expecting any heavy or widespread rain. So as the kids head off to the bus stop here, as we start to wind down the school year, 47 degrees as the kids go off to school. It's a cool start with mostly cloudy skies, partly cloudy skies as the kids come home from school. And temperatures will jump up to about 67 degrees. That's still below normal, but by tomorrow, we're talking about heat and humidity. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. Dozens of marches and protests planned today in support of abortion rights. The backlash this morning after restrictive abortion laws have been signed into law.
And for the second time in a week, investigators in Alaska are looking into a deadly plane crash. What we're learning after 2 people were killed on Monday.
Weekdays at 9 on RTV6.
Dozens of abortion rights advocacy groups and their supporters will take to the streets around the country today. More than 50 organizations in almost all 50 states are leading the Stop the Bans marches. They're upset with a number of recent anti-abortion laws that have been passed in several states. That includes in Alabama, where the governor just signed the nation's strictest bill. Many of the Republican-led states want to challenge Roe v. Wade now that the Supreme Court has a conservative majority.
For the second time in a week, a float plane has been involved in a deadly crash near Ketchikan, Alaska. A pilot and 1 passenger were killed Monday afternoon. Just last week, 2 sightseeing planes, one operated by Taekwon, crashed in mid-air off the coast of Ketchikan. 6 people were killed in that crash. 10 others were injured. The NTSB is still on site investigating that crash. The cause of the latest crash will also be looked into. Weather and visibility were clear at the time of the accident.
And here's something that's a little unsettling for people living on the East Coast. A great white shark has been spotted in the Long Island Sound off of the coast of Connecticut for the first time ever. The 10-foot-long great white is being tracked by an ocean research group that's been following the shark since last year. Researchers say the shark has been traveling very close to the shore, and they are warning people to use caution before they get into the water. And Todd, you grew up right near there. Is this something kind of unheard of?
I never worried about a shark at all.
Wow.
On the Jersey Shore, but I never even heard of people talking about sharks, so that is pretty unusual. But I think the water's pretty cold still, so I don't think anybody will be swimming anytime soon there. But it'll start to warm up as we start to bring in the warmer temperatures, which in central Indiana will be arriving by the end of the week. It's a little on the cool side this morning. 49 degrees. The wind is out of the east-northeast at 14 miles per hour. So there's a little bit of a breeze, but the wind direction is more important. That northeasterly wind is more of a drier wind, and that's going to help to prevent some rain chances as we go throughout the morning hours. 47 right now in Lafayette, 45 in Rushville, Greensburg, you're at 46. 44 is the current temperature in Richmond. So we start off the day with more clouds than sunshine across the area. And with the clouds in place, temperatures are are going to be in the 50s. In fact, by the noon hour, we're only looking at a temperature right around 57 degrees. Then as we work our way into the afternoon hours, that's when we should start to break the clouds away for a little bit of sunshine here and there. We're never going to completely get rid of the clouds, but as we thin those clouds, that's when our temperatures eventually get to their high right around 67 degrees. And again, that's more this evening compared to during the afternoon hours. So we've had some showers this morning already with this little band that's made its way through northern portions of Indiana, but we're dry right now. We should remain dry for your morning commute in most locations. The exception is off towards the west. As you notice, some of this rain is starting to make its way closer to the state line. So, and it looks like a lot of rain, and it is in central Illinois, but again, that northeasterly wind is going to dry some of this rainfall up, and I am expecting at least a few showers to make their way here into central Indiana this morning, but we should not see this big cluster or widespread rain make its way through the area. And then here's the line of storms that prompted all that severe weather yesterday off of parts of Oklahoma and Texas. That eventually gets here tomorrow. Not with severe weather, but the front makes its way into our area. So as we go throughout the morning hours, again, a few showers are possible, especially to the north. They should all be very, very light. That is the good news. Then as we work our way into the afternoon hours, the clouds will give way to a little bit of sunshine throughout the afternoon and evening. So as we go into the day, tomorrow, 49 degrees to start. So it's another cool start, and eventually up to 67 degrees here for your afternoon high. Now tomorrow, here comes the front in and during the morning hours with around the showers and storms, and there could be some locally heavy downpours come tomorrow morning across the area. But once that front goes through, it ushers in the warm and humid air mass that we will be dealing with really for the remainder of the week. So if you're looking for a run outdoors or a bike ride or some yard work, today is the day because it is cooler. As we work our way into Friday, Carb Day, highs will be near 90 degrees with humidity as well. And then unfortunately for Legends Day and also Race Day, we will have to keep some scattered storms in the forecast with temperatures that are going to be in the 80s. What we're going to have is a front that's going to be draped across the state, and we'll see these waves of rain making their way along the front. It's almost impossible to time it out yet for Race Day, but there will be some storm chances in the forecast. What we are confident about at this point is it's going to be a warm race once again this year with high temperatures in the mid-80s. Elena?
All right, thank you, Todd. Here's a look at I-465 at Keystone Avenue up on the north side. You can see everything's moving along just fine for your morning drive. Let's take a look at the map. So I was talking about that closure because of a rollover crash up in Boone County. The good news, it has cleared. So if you're coming in from the northwest side right now, heading southbound on I-65 from I-865 down to I-70, it should only take you about 17 minutes. So everything's moving along just fine for your drive. Let's take one last look at the roads. This time we're looking at Keystone off of I-65. So this is down towards the south side. You can see everything's moving up to speed. No backups or delays. Looks like hardly anybody's out on the roadway. And the great news, those roads are dry.
Elena, thank you. One of the biggest reasons people watch the news is for the weather. And as we continue looking at 70 years of broadcast memories, not only have the faces changed of those who brought you the forecast, but also the technology.
Meteorologist David James arrived at Channel 6 in 1980 before computers that led to creativity and visually telling the weather story.
When I started in 1980, we had a large 10-foot wide plywood map on the wall that you would put little stickers on with sunny faces or clouds with frowns or rain, you know, somewhere where you thought that was going to happen. I guess you had some numbers too that you could stick on so you could have temperatures around the country. Bob came up with this system of art cards, and they were actually just colored construction paper glued onto pieces of cardboard, and then the camera would take a picture of it, and then they could put that in the chroma key. So it was the earliest precursor of graphics, but there were no graphics.
Not only are there now tons of graphics to help explain the current and future weather conditions, there are also multiple models to assist our meteorologists in forecasting.
David stayed here at Channel 6 for 20 years, leaving in 2000. And coming up tonight on the news at 6, checking in with a woman who paved the way for so many women in this business. Barbara Boyd spent 25 years, and boy, did she have an impact then and now.
And all of this leads up to May 30th, when former anchors Clyde Clyde Lee and Dion Willis lead us in our 1-hour special at 7 p.m. 70 years together, RTV6 working for you. We hope you'll be able to join us.
Coming up, saying goodbye to a legend of motorsports. The tributes pouring in this morning as the racing world mourns the death of Formula One star Niki Lauda. That's coming up.
This morning, the racing world is mourning the death of a legend. Former Formula One superstar Niki Lauda has died at the age of 70. Niki was a 3-time Formula One champion and was well known for his battles on the track in the 1970s with James Hunt. Lauda was badly injured and burned in a crash in 1976 that nearly claimed his life. After retiring as a driver, he worked behind the scenes for teams in Formula One. IndyCar driver Simon Pagenaud paid tribute to Lauda on Twitter last night, calling him an example of hard work paying off.
Back in familiar territory, the Golden State Warriors have made the NBA Finals for the 5th year in a row. The Warriors are the first team since the Boston Celtics in the 1960s to reach 5 straight finals. Last night, they did it in dramatic fashion, coming back from down 17 points against the Portland Trail Blazers to win in overtime. The Warriors are hoping to win their 3rd straight NBA championship and 4th in the last 5 years. All right, Todd, I said I had the Warriors. You want the Bucks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want anybody except the Warriors.
Yeah, I mean,
gotta mix it up a little bit.
Good.
It gets so old.
Yeah,
I agree, but they're just so good.
At least it's not Cleveland and the Warriors this year for how many years in a row.
So Ron sitting at home.
Somebody will be new. So hopefully these are conference wins. All right, outside right now we're dealing with temperatures in the 40s, and we'll eventually get up to 67 with partly sunny skies and the chance of a spot shower here and there throughout the morning hours. The heat and humidity build though as we work our way throughout the remainder of the week. 81 tomorrow, by Friday 88 degrees, 84 Saturday and Sunday with a chance of some scattered storms. Time now is 5:27. Stay with Good Morning Indiana. We'll be back in here in just a few minutes.
Tonight at 11 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
A Beech Grove Railroad crossing is giving drivers a lot of problems.
Working for you, we're taking their concerns to CSX officials to find out what's being done to fix it. Plus, close to 300,000 people will pack the Indianapolis Motor Speedway this weekend.
New this morning how IU Health is putting residents directly into action when it comes to your well-being out at the track. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Griffin.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Meteorologist Todd Clausen is standing by this morning. And Todd, things are cool and it's not going to last for very much longer.
Yeah, you know, the heat and humidity is really going to start to build in, and that's what everybody's going to be talking about at the end of the week. So, yeah, I know it's a little cool this morning after we've had some pleasant days, but enjoy this comfortable air mass that we're in. It's going to be changing in a big-time way. You notice some rain showers moving through northern Indiana. Then as you look off to the west, creeping closer and closer to Terre Haute, is some heavy rain moving through Effingham right now, and this rain should start to weaken and fall apart a little bit as it makes its way here into central Indiana, but certainly western and northern locations, you'll have the opportunity here for a few light showers this morning. Now, here on those temperatures, we're in the 40s anywhere you go, as cool as 44 in Peru. Indianapolis right now is at 49 degrees. Throughout the day today, a lot of clouds around this morning, and again, the spot shower chance, but then we should thin the clouds out and turn it partly sunny later on this afternoon. Once that happens, our temperatures take a nice jump forward, and eventually getting up to a high Elena right around 67 degrees.
All right, thank you, Todd. Here's a look at I-465 at Rockville Road on the west side. Everything's moving along just fine. Let's take a look at the map coming in from the southwest side on I-70 from Ronald Reagan Parkway up to I-65. Should only take you about 12 minutes, so everything's moving along just fine for your morning drive, pretty much no matter where you're headed. We did have an earlier rollover crash, but the good news is that has since cleared. So let's take one last look at the roads. Here's I-465 at I-69. This is up on the northeast side, one of those areas that gets pretty backed up with traffic, but the good news is if you're heading out the door right now, shouldn't be a breeze.
Elena, thank you. RTV6 is getting answers for drivers forced to drive over extremely rough railroad tracks. Myron Freeman says the tracks on Emerson Avenue near downtown Beech Grove are riddled with potholes and have been deteriorating for years. He says many cars end up damaged and sometimes drivers make dangerous swerves. Freeman says he's tried contacting CSX and local leaders to get the problem fixed.
Beech Grove mayor, city mayor of Indianapolis, all of them said it was somebody else's jurisdiction. Everybody wants to point to somebody else to get it done, and it's not going anywhere. And I'm not blaming CSX, but just watch the people going across these tracks.
Railroad companies themselves own the actual crossing along a road and a few feet on either side of the tracks. They're responsible for fixing things like potholes or uneven surfaces. RTV6 reached out to CSX on Myron's behalf. The company released a statement saying, quote, "Thank you for bringing concerns about the South Emerson Avenue crossing to CSX's attention. We are looking into the matter and will determine what matters are necessary, what repairs are necessary, that is. We'll continue to follow up with CSX until the crossing is fixed."
The former Martinsville police chief is no longer receiving a paycheck from the city. A special board of public works voted May 10th to change Matthew Long's status to unpaid administrative leave. He has received more than $13,000 in pay since his arrest on February 27th. Long is charged with 2 felonies for official misconduct and theft amid allegations he took overtime and sick time that he wasn't entitled to. The city attorney says they had to select a special board of works to handle Long's case because the regular board knew about the State Board of Accounts investigation into Long before he was charged.
As investigators continue to look in the cause of a deadly home explosion in Jeffersonville, we're learning more about the victim from their neighbors and friends. William Short drove back to look at his shattered home on Assembly Road, a place he can no longer live. Ceilings in his home have collapsed, rooms torn apart, cracks running through his house, and family memories spread across the yard. When he looks across the street where the explosion happened, he remembers the kindness his neighbor Bill Phillips and his wife Janet always shared.
He brought over a Boston cream pie for my son that his wife had made, just something that they would do.
Short says Bill had a great sense of humor and always helped his community when he could.
The search for a missing Vigo County man has come to an end. Conservation officials say 22-year-old Trevor Hain went missing from Fairbanks Park in Terre Haute on February 13th. Over the weekend, more than 50 searchers scaled the river near Evansville to Terre Haute. Since February, hundreds of hours have been spent searching for Hain. Investigators say at this point, search efforts have been exhausted. Officers say the public should be on the lookout for anything suspicious as water levels fluctuate. Well, we are just days away from seeing the best in racing hit the track for the Indy 500.
And while you're out watching the greatest spectacle in racing, our Aaron Lish is live with a message from IMS President Doug Boles. Hey, Aaron.
Good morning. So do you have your earplugs as those drivers start their engines? That's the big question by IMS President Doug Boles. He's hoping that you are bringing that proper ear protection to the track. At the track, IMS President Doug Boles is telling people to wear ear protection after doctors tell him he's at the hearing aid threshold.
And I think as you get closer to the racetrack, it's over 100 decibels of noise. So it's borderline on that concert level type of noise, and that's the kind of stuff where we just got to start thinking about just protect your ears.
Medical data shows exposure too long to noises above 85 decibels can damage your hearing. You can purchase earplugs and even rent headsets like these at Racing Electronics at 5 different locations at the 500. Race fans say it doesn't hinder, but rather enhances your experience.
The headsets along plugged into the scanner, it gives you a better view of what's going on with the race. You can listen to the drivers, you can listen to the TV, the radio, the safety, the race control. It really puts you in the middle of the race, and you're able to really figure out what's going on.
Those with Racing Electronics, they tell me that those headsets will knock out about 50% of that background noise. And we actually have Alyssa Donovan here with us. You were telling me a little bit about how this is a really unique environment for people learning in the medical field.
That's right. You know, there's not many places that medical residents can really work with drivers that are going close to 200 miles per hour, which is why IU Health offers here at the track a special program for medical residents. It's called the Motorsports Elective, and those medical medical residents actually spend the whole month of May here. Second and third year residents learning at the track how to treat drivers after they crash, pit crew members, and spectators. The medical director at Indianapolis Motor Speedway says due to the high-speed crashes and the G-forces they see out on the track, this is a learning experience residents really can't get anywhere else. The program is through IU Health, but because it's so unique, they do have residents come in from across the country. One resident we spoke with is here from Texas.
You just get to be in the environment, practicing the exact kind of medicine that you enjoy. Emergency medicine in a department is very different from when you're on scene as a first responder, or even here in a clinic where resources are a little different and sometimes more limited.
You can either do like, I think there's a way to do like fellowship.
Now, along with dealing directly with the drivers, the residents also work at the Infield Care Center. Now, this program also comes with a mass gathering component. So those medical residents will be here at the track throughout the weekend during those concerts, as well as race day, working with those large groups of people to get that experience. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. New this morning, a local energy company wants you to be aware of crooks trying to take your money. Duke Energy says scammers are calling customers pretending to be utility workers. The scammers say they'll cut off your service within the hour if you don't pay up using a prepaid debit card. Duke officials say they'll never demand payment with a prepaid card. The company also says they'll provide plenty of notice if there is a legitimate problem with your account. If you have any questions about someone claiming to be from the company, hang up and call the number right on your bill.
Dozens of new jobs are coming to Bartholomew County. LHP Engineering Solutions is expanding its operations in Columbus and plans to add 135 new jobs by 2023. It provides services for automotive, aerospace, and medical industries. The company is investing nearly $1 million to grow its headquarters in Columbus. The company is also hiring engineers in several different fields. You can find a link to apply to the positions right now on hiringhoosiers.com.
The newest Indianapolis Public Library branch is almost ready to open. The Eagle branch near 38th and Muller Road is scheduled to open on June 1st. Library workers are working to put the final touches on the new branch. That means moving nearly 50,000 books from the old Eagle branch on Lowry Road. The library will include a new community room and more computer spaces. 10 additional library branches are expected to be built or renovated by 2022. It is 5:40 as you head out the door this morning. Todd, you're definitely going to need a jacket.
Yeah, absolutely. Temperatures are in the 40s here this morning, and this is going to be one of the cooler mornings that we'll see here at least throughout the remainder of the month. We're really going to start to turn the page, and I think starting tomorrow onward throughout the rest of the month, we're going to be dealing with more summer-like temperatures. So yeah, it's cool this morning. Temperatures in the 40s through at least 8 a.m., and then we're still only in the 50s as we work our way into the 11 o'clock hour. Now, as far as rain, there's some rain that's just off to our west, making its way through a good chunk of Illinois. And a few of these spotty showers will probably sneak in here this morning in a weakening state. So we're not looking at any widespread or heavy rainfall here today, but especially off to the west and then to the north. Don't be shocked if you have a shower or two. To the north, temperatures a little cooler today, low 60s. Southern locations, you should see your temperatures eventually climb up into the low 70s.
Todd, thank you. Measles cases are on the rise in the U.S. Straight ahead, we're breaking down the latest numbers just released by the CDC.
Plus, former White House counsel Don McGahn is expected to be a no-show on Capitol Hill this morning. Still ahead, why it's just one battle building tension on the Hill.
Your used car search today at Carfax.com.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Time now is 5:44. Here's a look at I-65 at West Street downtown. Everything's moving along just fine. Stay tuned. I'll have your latest traffic update coming up in just a few minutes.
Elena, thank you. Former White House counsel Don McGahn is expected to be a no-show for a House Judiciary Committee hearing this morning on Capitol Hill. This is just the latest in the battle between House Democrats and the White House over the Mueller report. President Trump instructed his former White House counsel to ignore a congressional subpoena to testify today. Democrats are eager to question McGahn over whether the president attempted to obstruct the Russia investigation. The chairman of the democratically controlled committee, Jerry Nadler, is threatening McGahn with contempt. This battle is likely to play out in court.
Measles cases are still on the rise in the U.S. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say 880 cases have been reported nationwide. 24 states are reporting cases. Most of the cases are in New York. Measles is highly contagious but can be prevented with the MMR vaccine. Officials have attributed rising numbers to misinformation about vaccines. The CDC says when taken in the recommended 2 doses, the MMR vaccine is 97% effective at preventing measles. All right, it is 5:46. Let's get over to Todd.
All right, Nicole, temperatures today a little below normal. Normally we should be up near 74 degrees, and today we'll only get up to right around 67, and that high is going to occur fairly late in the day today when we start to work a little more in the way of sunshine. And so you have to be patient to get to that high of 67, but eventually we should get there. But we will not be talking about below normal temperatures much more for the remainder of the week or the month for that matter, as we're going to start to build in a lot of heat and humidity. So there is the chance of a stray shower this morning with those cool temperatures. And I mentioned the heat and humidity starts tomorrow, but the core of the heat and humidity is probably here on Friday for Carb Day. So keep that in mind if you are going to be heading out to the track for all those festivities here at the end of the week. Now, temperatures this morning are in the 40s anywhere you go. 49 as you see, a pretty common number. 45 right now as you make your way up into Kokomo. So we have the clouds in place this morning. We have some showers off to our west and to our north. So the further north you are and the further west you are, you have the better chance of seeing some rainfall here this morning. But what's going on is this rain is trying to make its way towards central Indiana, and you see the eastward progression, but it's running into a lot of dry air, and we have a northeasterly wind, which is a dry wind direction. So that's drying out some of this rainfall. So while it looks fairly impressive here in Illinois, it should just be a few spotty showers as it makes its way into western portions of Indiana over the next hour or two. And then this is the stronger line of storms back off to the west, and that's going to come in here by tomorrow morning. And then look at Denver right now. They're dealing with snow falling in the Mile High City with a temperature right around 32 degrees. So much colder on the backside of that system. We're on the warm side of things going forward, though, in our forecast. So today, here you go, hour by hour as we break it down for you. 58 by the noon hour with mostly cloudy skies. So it's still chilly throughout the noon hour, and then we'll slowly start to thin the clouds out throughout the afternoon hours. And as that happens, that's when the temperatures take that nice jump upward, and we eventually climb into the mid to upper 60s. So here's how it plays out on TrueCast for you hour by hour. Again, some spotty showers through the noon hour, especially in northern locations, but then we get into the sunshine as you get home from work later on this afternoon and into the evening hours. So if you're thinking about an outdoor workout, you'll be just fine later on today. In fact, it'll be very, very comfortable with those highs in the 60s. Now, tomorrow we take the jump up to 80 degrees. Throughout the day tomorrow, you'll notice the humidity coming up as well. And what's going to usher in all this heat and humidity will be a front. And that front tomorrow morning will have the potential to bring some heavier downpours to the area. So tomorrow morning's commute potentially going to be a little on the wet side. Make sure you join us here tomorrow starting at 4:30. And we'll walk you through with the updated rain chances for tomorrow. But tomorrow's definitely not a washout. In fact, the afternoon and evening hours were in pretty good shape across the area. So yesterday, or tomorrow rather, we're getting up to right around 80 degrees, but we take a big jump forward as we go throughout the remainder of the week. Thursday, 86 degrees. By Friday, Carb Day, a high of 88 with the humidity as well. It's going to feel like it's about 95 to the low 100s Friday afternoon. So again, keep that in mind. Take the appropriate precautions. And then as we get into race weekend, some scattered storms both Saturday and Sunday, unfortunately, with high temperatures in the mid-80s. Elena?
All right, thank you, Todd. When you're taking to the roads, not much is happening right now. From the northeast side on southbound I-69 from Huntington Avenue down to 465 should only take you 5 minutes. So everything's moving along just fine for your morning drive. Let's take a look at the roads right now. Here's a look at I-465 at Allisonville Road up on the northeast side. You can see everything is moving along just fine for your drive. No backups or delays.
Elena, thank you. Even after his death, Purdue superfan Tyler Trent continues to raise money for cancer research.
Straight ahead in the Trending 6, the new way you can contribute to his cause. We'll be right back.
Accessories order at WeatherTech.com.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Time now is 5:53. Here's a look at I-465 at Allisonville Road on the northeast side. All's moving along just fine.
Elena, thank you. Before you head out the door, it's time for the Trending 6.
These are some of the stories that everyone is sharing online and you'll want to know about. even after his death, Purdue superfan Tyler Trent continues to raise money for cancer research. His book, The Upset, goes on sale today. A portion of each purchase made on TylerTrentBook.com will be donated to cancer research and support for families. The book is also available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Riley Hospital gift shops. Tyler died in January at age 20 after battling cancer.
Students at an Alabama elementary school are closing out the year without one of their classmates who died in a car wreck. Now the father of Jalea Smith is trying to help them heal with a surprise he knows his daughter would have loved. Second graders from G.W. Trenholm Elementary were treated to a trip to a trampoline park. Jalea's dad paid for every single one of the students to go. He says he wanted the kids to end a difficult year on a positive note.
The Golden State Warriors are back in familiar territory. Last night, the team made the NBA Finals for the 5th year in a row. The Warriors are the first team since the Boston Celtics in the 1960s to reach 5 straight finals. The win came in dramatic fashion, coming back from down 17 points against the Portland Trailblazers in overtime. The Warriors are hoping to win their 3rd straight NBA championship and 4th in the last 5 years.
7 years after Whitney Houston's death, her music lives on. The New York Times reports Houston's estate has made a deal for a hologram tour featuring her original backing band. The tour will also include an album of previously unreleased material, a Broadway musical, and more. Her executor, Pat Houston, tells the Times it's all about reclaiming Whitney's legacy.
Eagle-eyed viewers of the Game of Thrones finale Sunday night spotted something that had no place in the mythical land, a plastic water bottle. It could be seen in a tense segment where characters discuss the fate of Westeros. This comes just 2 weeks after someone left a disposable coffee cup on set in another episode of the show.
Hey, if you and I can hide all our drinks, I think the Games of Thrones folks should be able to, too. Come on. Talk about a life-changing career, lifelong career, that is. Working past retirement isn't for everyone, but Ron Jones says at 95 years old, he couldn't imagine doing anything else. Ron has been selling petroleum in upstate New York for 61 years. Ron says his secret is a self-motivating pep talk at 3 o'clock every morning and making healthy life choices. As for retirement, he says it's not in the plans anytime soon. I need Ron to come give me a pep talk at 3 in the morning when I'm just finishing painting my face with all this makeup, and I'm like, oh, this is not what I want to be doing right now. I want to get back in my bed.
Get up, practice gratitude.
I know. I need Ron to be like, come on, girl, let's go.
Get it together.
Yeah.
All right, Todd.
Come on, Todd.
You ladies done?
Yeah, we're done.
All right, outside right now, we're dealing with temperatures in the 40s and right around 50 degrees in Muncie, 48 in Indianapolis. You do notice a few isolated showers now starting to sneak into western and northern locations. Don't be shocked here this morning if you see a few spotty sprinkles and or a shower. Otherwise, look for partly sunny skies today with temperatures that eventually will climb up only into the mid-60s.
Todd, thank you. He's accused of taking money and bailing on jobs. Ahead at 6 and only on RTV6. The embattled contractor opens up about why he did it.
Plus, we know the sounds of Indy cars racing around the track can be pretty loud. This morning, we're looking at how you should protect your hearing if you plan to watch the Indy 500 in person. We'll be right back.